Adobe just released some great new tools for raw processing. When you want to push your processing to get the most out of both the foreground and the sky, local masking around complicated edges like these trees or hard edges like around these buildings can be really challenging when you do the masking in RAW because these edges are going to be very prone to showing haloing. So in this video, we'll explore the new edge and feather tools to help deal with this in RAW. I've opened both these images as raw smart objects so we can double click them and open them up into Adobe Camera RAW 18.3.2. You'll need this latest version and it's not yet available in Lightroom. What I have right now is an image I've already partially processed to bring out the best of the foreground and the waterfall. So it started from this state here where properly exposed for the sky. And then after brightening up the foreground by bumping the exposure, the sky is a little bit too bright. And so we can start our work there, trying to restore some of that detail in the sky. So naturally, we want to create a local mask. We're going to choose to create a new mask and select sky. Now, when we do this, these new tools pop up, feather and edge. These help control how this mask works. If we zoom into the detail on this mask, it certainly looks like it's covered the tree very well. But once we start making adjustments, problems can start to show up. Just to make it easy to see, let's grab the exposure slider and just drag it all the way down. It's certainly darkened the sky, but it's darkened the edges of the tree in kind of a funny way. This does not look natural. And these kind of artifacted results can really limit how far you can push your sliders in the raw edit. And that, of course, is the purpose of these new sliders. Watch what happens when I move this edge slider by just 1 pixel to the right. Look at how clean that tree looks from before, where there's no edge refinement, the old approach, to after using the new edge with just 1 pixel moving the edge of this. It has properly aligned with this tree and things look much, much better. Just to help understand what's going on here, let's go show the overlay so we're looking at the mask. If you don't see this view, go click the 3 dots and choose the same settings I have here, and then you'll be able to see this. When the edge is turned off, this is the original sky mask that Adobe Camera RAW created. When I start pushing in the edge, when I push to the right, it gets more and more sky. And obviously at some point, these artifacts are kind of weird and you wouldn't push to these high values most of the time. And if you pull to the left, you're shrinking it and getting less sky, pulling away from the trees. So most of the time, you're going to move this by like 1 pixel. You can see just from before here where it's 0 to moving 1 pixel to the right, cleaning that up. Now the edge tool is softening the mask too. It's not just moving the edge. So it kind of has a natural feathering ability in it. But if you want to push it further, you take the feather and you can slide that to the right, which is basically like a Gaussian blur to smooth it out. So most of the time, you're going to stick very close to 0 for both sliders and just move a little bit. But as we saw here, just moving from the original state to 1 pixel to the right has significantly cleaned up our trees. And that's helped a lot. So we obviously don't want to push our exposure quite so far. Let's bring it back to the correct level. But this is the approach I would take for these sliders is do an extreme adjustment of exposure. Not a tool like highlights that is prone to showing halos on its own, but a tool like exposure, just literally the exposure slider. Get your most appropriate mask by refining these sliders, and then you can dial it into the correct amount. And let's just zoom back and see something around maybe like minus 1.2 stops or so. That has a pretty nice looking sky. I want a little more contrast. So I'm going to go push up my highlights a little bit here, maybe around 10 points or so, push up my whites a similar amount. Maybe bring back a little bit of warmth in the tint, that is. And I'd like even more color here beyond what's in the image. And another local tool that we have is now the color grading is available as a local adjustment as well, which is great. We still don't have things like camera calibration. We still have limitations in that the temp and tint don't work as well as global edits or blacks don't work as well. But it's nice to see more and more of the tools available in the local edits so we can get a better adjustment. And what I want to do here is kind of warm up the highlights in the sky and keep the coolness in the darker parts of the sky. So I'm going to take my highlights to around 40 and just bring it back to a saturation of like 40 or so. And then take the shadows, push them blue to somewhere around like 225 and just back that way off to something like 5. And what I'm doing is when you see that little line where I'm moving on the line there, I'm holding the shift key so I cannot move around the circle. I'm just changing only the saturation, locks me in there. So I just like to move to the edge, then hold shift and move back to the correct saturation. But you can see with the local color grading, we've nicely warmed up the sky. And I might take our highlights and move that closer to like, say, 30, a little bit more reddish tone there. But I think that looks really nice. It's already a big improvement over where we started, but I'd like to take it a little bit further. When we look at the mask, we have one other problem here, which is, notice I'm going to go lock this on. Notice the areas in the sky that are dark here. This part of the mask is not as included as this part of the mask. If we were creating a luminosity mask in Photoshop, we would just spend more time brushing in these areas and be done with it. But in this case, the sky mask is not just wrong at the edges, it's actually just missing parts of the sky, or at least not fully selecting them. And so to get more of this, we have to somehow add to our mask. And in this case, we have a pretty easy option. This is not always available, but because the sky is the brightest thing in this part of the image, we can just go and select things by luminosity and push that into the sky. So what we want to do is go click Add, go to Luminance Range, and then just knock out our shadows. Go push this all the way up, push at the bottom edge of the slider so we're at something like this. Has included more of these sky areas from before to after. See how it's brightening up the sky there? It's not fully selected. It's not as good as a luminosity mask, but it's better, and I appreciate that. And there's a few areas here that I didn't want to include because they're also bright. So to knock them out, we can now just intersect this by holding down the Shift key to get intersect and go choose a radial gradient like so. And then it'll just be the areas that are common to both. So now it's the sky area in here, and I can pull back my feathering quite a bit on something like this. So you can see we've got a better looking mask, and it's given us overall this adjustment of the sky going from here to here, bring out a lot of detail. And I think this looks really nice. For an image like this where it's worth spending the time, I would probably still go and use a luminosity mask to get an even better mask, as well as more control than the local sliders give me here. But if you want a quick result, this looks really nice, and I'm quite happy with it. So I think we can stop there with this quick little edit from before to after and move on to our second challenge, which is this next image. So here we have an unadjusted RAW. It was exposed to the right so that the sun has a minimal amount of blowout and the sky looks great. Naturally, all the shadow areas are very, very dark in this backlit scene. So our challenge here is going to be to bring out the detail in the foreground without blowing out the sky. To get started, let's go double click our RAW Smart Object. We're back into the latest version of Camera RAW. And the first move here is going to be to brighten the image so we have a good foundation. Let's go bring up the exposure, something like, close to 2, maybe a little over 2 stops. Feels about right. The sky is not totally blown. We've got some nice detail in the foreground. I think this feels like a good place where we can locally darken the sky, probably darken its reflection, and brighten the building. Now, we could, if we wanted to avoid local mask, try and just bring down highlights, push up the shadows, and technically that's pushing us in that direction, but this feels very, very fake. There's something just intuitively wrong about this result. It looks artificial. We don't want to be using these global sliders for things that are better done with local edits. And these local sliders, they are pretty prone to halos. If we zoom into the detail here, I would say that maybe it's not obvious, but I feel like these edges here are not great. A lot of times when you push highlights and shadows too far, you end up with a weird result. So it's better to do local edits, and if you can, work with more natural sliders like exposure and minimize how much you push highlights and shadows to extremes. Let's go start with the sky. We're going to go create a local mask for the sky, and let's zoom in and just see how good it is. So right off the bat, we're going to do the same move as before, just do an extreme darkening, right? We're going to use this mask to darken the sky. Let's just go all the way and see what we're working with. And it's pretty decent. I mean, when you push it this far, problems are going to show, and there's a bit of a strange edge. The thing I don't like is how there's this weird ghostly look to the trees. So if we start playing with the tools here, I don't think feather's gonna be helpful. Remember, feather just smears everything, and that's not gonna be helpful unless you're just trying to obscure things. But when you have detail, you wanna stick with edge. If we take the edge slider, if we push it to the far right, we're pushing more sky, we'll eventually get to dark halos. If we push it to the far left, we're pulling it back, we'll get to these bright halos. So we just need to find a small amount of adjustment that could help here. So starting back in the center, I don't really see a halo, so maybe I can pull back a little bit, see how we do. At -1, we're definitely getting more halo. That's not the right choice. Let's go move it to +1. That has improved things. That looks more like sharpening detail and less like halo. I would say in some areas, it's not as good from the default here. We're at 0 edge to after we go to 1. You can see the trees look unnatural. Now they look much more natural. So I think that using just 1 for the edge helped a lot. If we go push it to something like 2, let's see if that's better. 3 is too much. 2 is probably too much. I think 1 is the correct amount here. Just a little bit of adjustment is usually all you need. But let's go check over on the building, and you can see with 1 here, it still looks pretty good. I think that's a pretty clean result. If I go and zero this back out, I think either is fine for the building, but definitely the trees were better with 1. So I think that's the right choice here. It's just 1 edge on the sky mask. And now what we can do is zero out the exposure adjustment and do a real change. So I'm thinking we want to bring down the exposure, but just not to something extreme. Maybe something like minus about 1. The highlights are pretty bright. I'm going to bring back the highlights a little bit here. And it's okay to do this a little bit, right? We're just moving the slider small amounts, like about minus 20 or so, not the extremes we did before. And I think that looks pretty good. And I want more contrast across this sky. There's a few ways I could approach it, but I noticed that this is kind of warm and this is kind of cool. I'm just going to go and use the local color grade to accentuate the darker parts here, which are already blue, and just push them a little bit more blue. So we'll grab our shadows, bring it out to about 225, 230, hold the shift key, and just dial it way back to something modest, like about a saturation of like 10 right there. And you can just see from before to after, it's a small adjustment, but I do think brings out a nice little bit of detail in the sky. Now that we've got our sky going, the reflection is too bright, right? When we darken the sky, the reflection should come down a bit too. And a sky selection will not select its reflection. And if we had an open horizon here, it wouldn't select things below the horizon either. So the sky selections can be pretty finicky. And in this case, the question is, how can we darken this down? And I think just a simple linear gradient is really all we need. There's no detail that's important here. This grass is something I'd rather diminish. So let's go and create a new mask, which will just be a linear gradient. Just drag it up like so. So it's mostly hitting the bottom of the image. I'm holding the shift key so I get this nice kind of horizontal level. And let's go boost up our contrast. Oftentimes that will take things that are dark and push them further. So it's taking the dark areas, darkening them more than the brightest areas. I do think that made things way too dark in some parts here. So let's go bring our shadows back up to something around like 20 or so, giving us this adjustment of the foreground. So the reflection now is more high contrast and feels more suitable for what we've done with the sky. I think we can now move into the architecture. There are a few ways we might think about this. We can't just invert the sky because everything below the building is going to be missing. So we could maybe intersect it with a gradient. We could do something like select objects, but that will oftentimes struggle with things like these trees. One thing that may not be obvious here is when you go to select the landscape, it actually has this option for architecture for human-made things. And while it's definitely imperfect here, because it's not picking parts of the architecture and it is picking little bits of trees, a little bit of sky here, it's overall good enough. And again, the goal here is good enough because we're trying to do something quick and simple on an image, which is not a portfolio-worthy image, just something we'd like to process to a nice result. So let's go create that selection of the architecture. And just like we did with the sky mask, let's zoom in and see if we should refine it because these new options are also available for the landscape mask. We have feather and edge options here as well. And when I zoom in clearly, there's some ghosting around the edges of the building here. So if I start lightening this up, well, that's going to push into the sky and maybe I'll get away with it, but like there's some ghosting here I'd like to avoid. So before we start making real adjustments, let's clean this up a bit. I'm thinking we might bring the edge in to minimize the sky. I'd rather not darken all the way to the edge of the building than brighten into the sky because that will look like a halo. So let's go bring our edge down something considerable here. If I go to like minus 20, this looks kind of silly like this, but then I can feather it by about 20 or so, bleeding back here. And so what I've got is a general selection of the architecture without the detail. So unlike the trees, I don't need to trace every little detail here. I'm kind of rolling off my adjustment at the edges. Take a look at what happens now when I bring up my exposure in this mask. Let's bring it up about like +1 or so. I think that's too much. Let's bring it up to about +0.5. See, that feels nice and natural. It didn't further blow out light in the sky, which is already pretty light, but it did bring out detail in the building. If we zoom back just a little bit, looking at the mask here from before to after, it's adding some nice detail to the scene. So this odd combination of moves to shrink the mask and then soften it gave us this overall result. If we go and just show this, zooming back, you can see it soften the edge. So things like the bottom edges here, which were going to be a problem because they're imperfect, it's kind of solving some of that problem for us. And let's just see how that looks here from before to after. Like clearly there is some transition there. It's not perfect, but I think it's good enough. We can soften it up a little bit further if we want to refine this by intersecting it with something like a radial gradient. So I can hold the shift key to intersect with a radial gradient. And when I bring something like this out, now it has to be both these things. And to the degree that I feather this, it just softens up the overall results. So I can go and show our overlay, bring this in like so. So it's just kind of like giving us more of a gradual fall off. So these little mistakes are less obvious because this is definitely not a perfect mask in any way, but it just needs to be a good enough mask. And I think that's starting to do the job for us. I might back my feather off back to like 50 or so. And I'd like to bring out a little more detail here, not everywhere in the shadows and such, but let's just maybe bring up the highlights a bit to something like around plus 50-ish. And then let's push up the whites a little bit to something like maybe like plus 30. And now we just see we've got this overall result, bring out more detail in this building. I think that helps things quite nicely. And maybe I'll just bring this down a little bit so the top has a little bit less inclusion because of the gradient here, darkening that down at the top a little bit. Now the dead center of this could be a little bit lighter. So at this point, let's go and create another new mask dedicated to the middle. So let's go create a new mask. And I think just a simple radial gradient is probably going to get the job done. But why don't we'll try select objects in this case. I want to try and just get the entrance because this area is just super, super dark. So let's try it with select objects and just see how we do. If this fails, we'll go back to a radial gradient, but this might work well. It's pretty good, right? And let's bring up our shadows. If we go too far, it's going to be pretty weird looking, but just a tiny, tiny amount, like 5 or 10 or so, helps improve this area from before to after. And then let's bring up some detail here by bringing up the whites to like around plus 20. So it's just a subtle thing, but being the center of the whole image, I felt like it should be a little bit more prominent or less of a black hole, if you will. And now let's just look at the overall edit from the original here where it's properly exposed in some pretty tough conditions looking into the sun to after being a very usable result that doesn't have that weird fake look like when we did the global highlights and shadows. I think that's quite a nice result. And what we needed to do that was just a few quick local masks, making those changes from the overall global settings, which was really just bumping up the exposure in the original global edit. To learn more about raw masks like this, check out my new advanced raw masking course and click to this next video.